How does a man with $5,000, a crumbling storefront, and a town that didn't care build the largest retail empire the world has ever seen? This is not the story they taught you in school. This is the story of a man who looked at poverty and said, "Not yet." Sam Walton was born in 1918 in the flat, forgotten lands of Kingfisher, Oklahoma. His family had nothing, not because they were unlucky, but because luck in those days didn't visit places like Kingfisher. The Depression had stripped the land and the people bare. Young Sam watched his father work tirelessly for wages that barely kept bread on the table. But Sam noticed something that others missed. He noticed that the people with the least money, the farmers, the factory workers, the mothers counting coins at the register, were also the people who needed the most. And nobody was serving them. Not really. That observation would become worth $650 billion. He started small, painfully small, a Butler Brothers franchise variety store in Newport, Arkansas. He borrowed everything he could, scraped together $5,000, and walked into a building that looked like it had already given up on life. His landlord didn't believe in him. His bank barely tolerated him. His competitors laughed. Sam didn't hear any of it. He worked 18-hour days. He mopped floors himself. He learned the name of every customer who walked through his door. He cut prices so aggressively that people drove from neighboring towns just to shop at his store. Within 3 years, his Newport store was the highest-grossing Ben Franklin franchise in the region. Then, his landlord took it from him. A legal clause, a power play, one document that erased everything Sam had built. Most men would have broken. Sam walked out of that building, stood on the sidewalk in the Arkansas heat, and wrote one word in his ledger: next. He moved to Bentonville, Arkansas. Population, 3,000 people, and one opportunity that nobody else could see. There, Sam Walton opened a new store, and then another, and then another. He flew his own tiny airplane over rural America, scanning the landscape below for forgotten towns. Places where big retailers refused to go because the population was too small to matter. Sam saw those towns differently. He saw 5,000 people who needed affordable groceries. He saw 10,000 people who couldn't drive 40 miles to the nearest Sears. He saw an entire forgotten America that had been left behind, and he decided to meet them where they were. In 1962, he opened the first Walmart in Rogers, Arkansas. No fanfare, no press conference, just a big sign, low prices, and doors that opened at 8 in the morning. The parking lot was full by 9. Sam's strategy was radical in its simplicity. Give people what they need at a price they can actually pay in a store they can actually reach. He cut out middlemen. He negotiated with suppliers so ruthlessly that they feared his phone calls. He built Walmart's own distribution infrastructure so that no third party could control his costs. He was, in the language of chess, always thinking 4 moves ahead. His competitors thought he was a regional curiosity. JCPenney wasn't worried. Sears wasn't worried. Kmart wasn't worried. They should have been. By 1970, Walmart had 18 stores. By 1975, 125. By 1985, 850. The line on the revenue chart didn't curve, it punched straight through the ceiling. What made Sam different wasn't just price, it was people. He introduced profit sharing for hourly employees in the 1970s, decades before Silicon Valley made it fashionable. He walked the floor of every store he could reach. He picked up trash himself. He instituted the 10-foot rule. If a customer came within 10 feet of you, you made eye contact, you smiled, you offered help. No exceptions. He called his employees associates, not workers, not staff, associates. The boardrooms of America rolled their eyes. Sam didn't notice. He was too busy opening stores. When he was named the richest man in America by Forbes in 1985, he drove to work the next morning in the same beat-up pickup truck he always drove, with his hunting dogs in the back. A journalist once asked him why. Sam said, "Because I like it, and because it works." He invested heavily in technology at a time when retailers thought computers were a fad. Walmart's satellite communication system, linking every store in real time to Bentonville headquarters, was more sophisticated than most government systems. Sam didn't just run a retail chain, he built a data machine that knew what every shelf in every store needed before the shelf was empty. His competitors were still using paper orders. Sam was using satellites. By the early 1990s, Walmart had surpassed Sears as the largest retailer in America. Kmart would never recover. Sears would spend the next 3 decades slowly dying. And Sam Walton had done it from Bentonville, Arkansas. He was diagnosed with a rare form of cancer in the late 1980s. He kept working. He visited stores. He led company cheers. He wrote his memoir, Made in America, and delivered it with the same plain-spoken honesty that defined his entire life. He wrote, "I was no smarter than anyone else. I just refused to quit." Sam Walton passed away in April 1992. He left behind a company with 1,700 stores, nearly 400,000 employees, and revenues that dwarfed every retailer on the planet. He also left behind something that cannot be measured in any ledger. He left behind the proof, written in asphalt and fluorescent light and checkout lines, that an ordinary man from an ordinary town with an extraordinary refusal to be stopped can change the entire world. Today, Walmart employs 2.1 million people. It serves 240 million customers every single week. The question was never whether Sam Walton was exceptional. The question is, what are you refusing to quit?